the it seems, I think everybody who would be here in this room and on the Zoom would agree that there's a kind of opening in consciousness. It's represented through the technology for many of us. Mine is not clear, of course, because we can't see shit, uh, but it's represented through the technology, and it comes to us through the technology of YouTube, and now we have artificial intelligence, my favorite. But we see that there's a shift in consciousness. The interesting thing to me that I was looking at in meditation a couple of days ago is the drama of what I can remember that my parents shared with me about what was going on in the decades when they were born, which was my father was born in 1917, and and his story of how he was so enamored with automobiles. He got to see one when he was like 14 or 15, right? In a little village nearby where he and his family lived in a fairly impoverished farm setting in LA, Laura, Alabama. So when he told me about that, I realized that that had been the impact that shift in technology had made on him, because in that moment when he saw that car, he fell in love with the automobile. And he ended up his whole life owning automotive parts stores in LA or Alabama. Right. And so when I was with him, when he was passing in 2010, I said to him, Daddy, what was the best dream you ever had? And he said, one night I dreamed that a trucker called me. He had a broken fan belt, and I went down to my store and I had every fan belt. I had every fan belt that was needed, and I could just pick it up and give it to him. And he said that was the best dream I ever had. Oh. And so we have these kinds of impact of these decades that we're living in. But now through technology, that seems to be collapsing. And does that make sense to people? Yeah. It seems to be. I was just speaking to Colleen about time before we started the group. And it was like, we've never, ever been anywhere but right here, right now. That we've never been in the past, and we'll never be in the future. Whenever we get to the future, it's now. And so we have when you make that shift in your perceptual experience, then the aliveness begins to be so full and so present. And it's an effulgent experience, right? In the Garden of Eden, this is such a wonderful story because it's so specific in pointing to where we've gotten to now, where we have been insisting until AI, where we've been insisting on our minds dealing with cause and effect, rational analytic, polarity, all of it underpinned by fear, because the experience in the Garden of Eden was that we were getting kicked out, right? And the flaming swords were barring our way to re-enter. So now we're not in the garden, and we've been impacted with a mind that believes it has to figure out something, and it has to choose between good and bad. At this point in this reality, this collective experience now, we have quantum physics saying it ain't just good and bad. It's not a polarity. There are choices here. There are possibilities here. And the opening into consciousness that points to portends a whole new reality. For each one of us, our responsibility is to do our own work so that we clear out the illusion, the conclusion that we created very early on upon incarnation, because we incarnated into this outside the garden environment energetically, which said, I'm not good enough, I don't matter. Early on, we had the experience that helped us believe that, right? It's like mommy or daddy weren't there, we needed them, where were they? I don't matter. So we are in this it's like it's like a tube torus or an artesian well of the consciousness ship coming home and our experience and arising and overflowing. And so what we do the work on is to perceive what we unavoidably concluded about ourselves. We call it the shadow or the childhood wound. I'm not good enough, I don't matter, because the impact of that is profound. The way that it impacts us, and I think everybody in here has heard this version of reality before, but the way it impacts us is it creates a perceptual screen through which we see reality. So if I have a lens uh, upon which I've inscribed, I don't matter, whatever I'm seeing out there is going to be either that, predominantly that, because I've got that installed. And once in a while, because this is a reality based in polarity, I'll see the other end of the stick. And when I do, I'll get attached to that and try to figure out how to make that happen more, right? So what we've done with our early wounding is that we've self-abandoned. Our attention particles are now out there where our attention is on the response of others, right? How did they treat me? They didn't include me in that party. They didn't call me when they were having lunch together because I've got this lens. I don't matter. So my world is informed by that. Now for the cosmic joke. That is also the information energetically that I'm emitting into what we would point to, just as a way to describe it, as the quantum field. The quantum field is an aspect of who we are. It's the unseen, awake awareness in which things arise. Now, what can arise in our experience, it will be determined by the lens that we're perceiving through. So it's like the quantum field is like a cosmic Amazon, right? And we're always ordering by what we think about ourselves. I'm not good enough, it says. She's not getting included in that party next week. The quantum, they're having a party, she really wants to go. No. The order is not good enough. And so we are having this experience of how to rise. And it is a kind of an arising up. It's an arising up in the frequency and the energy of who I am. And I am the awake awareness in which realities arise. And that's what's true about each one of us. The reality that arises gets shaped and formed. This is our part in creating reality by what we believe about ourselves. And so we are put on notice that you can't fix it out there. You know, I can't make sure that I'm included to the party and feel good about myself. Shit will happen, and it will not, and it will prove exactly what you believe, not what you believe you want to believe about yourself, but what you actually do. And so the reason in this group, in this Sangha here in South Maui, the tool that we use to undo the unseen aspects of our conclusions, we use the tool called the 6 Steps to Freedom process. And those steps, most of you in here know them. The first step is I'm triggered, right? It's when I feel reaction, when I feel shut down, when I feel reactive, to notice that that is a signal that I'm caught in my woundedness. The 6 steps are very effective, and we may get to do some here today with people. But if you can just shine the light of awareness with the understanding of what's going on, that's a shift in frequency, right? You're not anymore held in that congested, tight resistance of being against yourself. I'm not good enough. I don't matter. So that story for me is so profound because it describes all aspects of what's going on in this reality. It describes the experience of us being caught in polarity, the rational analytic mind with right and wrong, right? And the outcome of that, which will look like them and me. It's going to always look like a polarity because that's the screen through which we see it. The fact that there is fear here because when the occurrence collectively or ontologically was experienced of being kicked out of the garden, now we're at risk to die. And so we have this underlying frequency of fear that's based in being kicked out of the garden, not having access to home. So the job for each one of us, because each one of us makes a huge difference, there is a morphogenetic field of consciousness that has been the collective experience. I've been pointing to the one that's prevalent in Western culture. And there are different versions of this. The rational analytic has been totally upheld in Western culture. I guess we could blame Descartes with "I think, therefore I am." Like that, so that thinking is elevated as if it's the cause in the matter. It's the cause of a lot of shit in the matter, that's for sure. You know, so we have access to a picture, an understanding. I once did a podcast with somebody whose name I can't remember, and he was talking about being fearful of AI, and I said that I thought the original AI was in the Garden of Eden, and we were it, and that we were at that point we were clamped into a way of being in the world that limited us out of fear and polarity to a very linear experience, a very cause and effect experience. And so now as people like us who have a sense of a larger reality, and we get together because we actually realize that we're all expressions of exactly the same thing. But the fun of it is that we are different expressions, and that gives us the fun of individuality. And but when you identify with the body mind, instead of realizing that that's the vehicle that you're expressing through, then you're going to be in fear, because it's only the body that is at risk, and it's not at risk at all. So I think I've gone beyond where I was informed by my own meditation. So I'll answer questions or topics from anybody, and we can do the 6 steps if somebody is triggered. I can trigger people. If you're not triggered now, you might be. I mean,
So if you have a question or want to interact with Polly, you're in the room here, go ahead and raise your hand. If you're on Zoom, you can either raise the hand icon or turn on your video and wave to me so I can see you and spotlight you.
everybody's enlightened. This is wonderful. This is really good news. The morphogenetic field is like quivering.
Yeah, Colleen.
I'm aware of lately that I spend a lot of my time trying not to make a mistake. Like, I guess controlling things or trying to make sure that I'm choosing the right thing. And about so many things. And I don't want to do that. Right. It just feels so draining and consuming. And then I'm not being able to trust myself that I'm connected and being led, and it'll be okay no matter what. And
How long has this been going on?
well, I think it's been going on like all my life.
But
I'm just
awareness now.
The awareness has been the last, I'd say, month, the real strong awareness. Yeah.
Have your external conditions changed?
No.
It's interesting, huh? So there's a shift in consciousness here, awareness of tension that comes from. One of the pieces that comes up in this work that we do is the way in which we have basically abandoned ourselves on behalf of externals. This is an aspect of what's going on with you. I call the return to ourselves is coming home to being on our own behalf. Because typically what happened as a child is part of our woundedness was that we needed to have our attention out if daddy was coming home drunk or late and they were fighting, right? And from that place, we would believe something about ourselves. So much of this was very early energetically installed as the wound. But using this experience that you're having, I
Well,
think,
there is something in the external that I'm contemplating making a big change, moving off island.
mhm,
And so that's probably some of the fuel for this. And when I was sitting with it yesterday, the thing that came up was the sense of that I felt like I made a mistake when I got married. And even though I got two amazing children out of it, like I really abandoned myself. Yeah,
is that marriage still intact?
no.
So that one's done, we're gonna put that aside.
Yeah.
That part's over.
Yeah, that part's over. It's not even really about the marriage
I know.
anymore. It's about like,
Right.
can I trust myself?
Right. Yeah, it's a very high bar that comes up pretty fast when we're making a shift in consciousness. And that bar has to do with what you're pointing to, because we bring into the concern or the decision-making process all of like your the marriage that you may have, even though you got the two kids, you know, it was in quotes something of a mistake. It's like a regret is there, and so we don't trust ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the one that you don't trust, I want to do a little 6 steps process with you, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you feel this distrust for yourself, we can use that as a trigger. It's like all of the concerns, the different bits and pieces of this impending move. Have you decided to move?
Yeah, I've made a decision, but I'm not taking any steps yet or
Mhm.
giving my notice, or giving it a lot of time.
All right.
It doesn't have to be soon.
So when you consider moving, what are the feelings that come up?
Relief and joy
Mhm.
and hope. And yeah, there is some like trepidation, that kind of feeling of like, oh, what if I'm screwing myself over?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so using those feelings of the negative ones of like the doubt and the concern that you might be screwing yourself over, using those feelings, just free associate what was in the earliest time you can remember feeling those same ways. What was happening? It may have been when you were before you were in kindergarten. It may have been in the family dynamic, but you felt the same feeling.
What's coming up for me is in the last couple of years, I've had some memories come of being taken into a abuse situation by my father. And that's what's coming up.
Mhm.
It's like, it feels like that the first time it happened that I felt like I was special and that I
Right.
was, he was taking me somewhere.
Hmm.
Like that doesn't happen, you know? Like I have brothers and there's other kids to take care of and like I was special, I was
Right.
and it wasn't good.
Yeah. Yeah. When that happened, And sometimes it's that juxtaposition, because what this is reflecting back to us is the positive side of the move that's impending right now, right? And then the worry is a direct mirroring of this early experience. When that happened with your father, and it was like, I'm special and this is gonna be great, and then it turned into something that was not good. When that happened, you concluded that that meant something about you.
That I'm just kind of like a pawn,
Right. Yeah.
that I'm not valued for who I am or my true worth,
Yeah.
only kind of like what gotten out of me,
Mhm.
what I can be used for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you concluded that is what we were pointing to, that gets repressed, right? It
Yeah.
gets repressed into the subconscious, but it has its life in the projection out here. And because that wounding was polarized, it had possibility in the beginning of being special and being just like this move does for you, right?
Yes.
But the fear now is that the move could turn out the way this little trip with Daddy did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now you've believed something about yourself that creates the lens through which you perceive reality. So it has that polarity in that lens, right? And so that creates the insecurity and the doubt.
Yeah.
If you anything that you can see, and we can see this conclusion you made, I'm transactional, I'm a piece of shit, I don't matter. I'm not using your words, I don't think.
It's okay. It's close
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
If you can see that that was unavoidable but never true, I forgive myself for ever having believed that I don't matter. Can you find that? Can you see that that little girl was absolutely innocent?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what happened was the conclusion that you made after that entire experience again created the distortion and the lens through which you experience and perceive reality. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine not having that?
It's like,
Freedom. Yeah.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freedom from the doubt. Ease
Yeah.
with whatever happens. It's like if what
Yeah.
you know, like if it's not, if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to, I'll do it different. Like it's like the and the sixth step is through the light of this awareness that you and I and everybody in the group are shining on this early conclusion, which was never true, but unavoidable. The light that was shining on it, I forgive myself for ever having believed that I don't matter. I am the awake awareness in which realities arise.
I am such realities.
That's the transformational, that's the altar call, that's the opening, that's the freedom.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that I have really held that against the part of me that felt so excited to get it,
Right.
you know, and
Sure.
and like, wow, I could actually be in touch with that again
Mhm.
and not have the
It's not
weight
bad. That
of
was
what happened.
exactly. That
Yeah,
was the good part. And you're now in the good part of the possibility of remove, but now it's without the other side end of the stick.
wow. Thank you, Polly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So I'd like to follow up from last week, it's Heidi.
I do.
In here, I talked about a house that I was just about to get accepted for, and I didn't get accepted. Even had items in my cart to be sent here from Cozy Earth. You know, I was so ready to move, right? And we got to the beach and got the text that the owner said the property manager was incorrect in saying that pets were welcome, he didn't want any more pets. And Jean-Vivi and I walked on the beach and he admitted he felt kind of relieved. And then the gush of relief came from me as well. And it was because of the turnaround, trying to come back in 2 months and get everything ready. So I just wanted to update that. But I'm kind of on the other end of what the work that you just did, because I want to move here and my mind has really sticky hands on the how and on the affordability and all that. And my being, which feels like the submerged mountain of Maui under the ocean, so dark and deeply rich with intuition and the creativity of the shadow. It feels like it's rumbling, not in a volcanic burst, but just in an awareness. And I love that. And I raised my hand because I'm having difficulty keeping my mind's hands off of the details instead of just allowing the isness to come out and unfold. And I just wondered if you could speak to that.
Yeah, and it'll go right back to the work we've done on this, and I've done it with other people in here, right? To the information to the quantum field about anything, whether it's money or a relationship or whatever, has to do with who you're being. The quantum field is not going to say, oh, she doesn't really want that. Let me give her this. It doesn't do that. It's like, it's a direct, the quantum field is actually an aspect of who we are. And that one I can't.
Come on, intervene. Go ahead.
Let me tell her how it is.
Bring your powers on.
Yeah, the whole thing is that who we're being is the information into the quantum field, and who you're being is one that's in doubt or in even like the rumbling, right? It's like seated as, in your case, we talk about the mountain because that's an aspect of your human design, but seated in the reality of that's who I am. It's, what I have then has to match it. It has to, but we are hardly ever clear and without equivocation seated in what we want our reality to be. And mostly because the way in which we perceive and the way in which we experience is distorted by that early wounding conclusion. And so there's no clean slate here. But in the work that we do in manifestation, it is exactly this, to be the one who has it. And that can be a really high bar, and mostly because of our wounding. And that's why often the work that we do on a trigger or the work that we do on our fear-based identity and clearing it out so that the lens of perception has been cleared. And that work makes available our being present with, we talk about what we want, but we are it. You're not going to get anything. You're either being it, experiencing it, and then it shows up because that's the way reality works, or you'll believe that it's about out there and that they don't take pets and you don't have enough money and there's a problem. And then that's the reality. It sounds simplistic in a way, it is, but it's profound. And because we've been conditioned out of our true nature, out of who I am for so many incarnations, this is the one where we're shifting all that. Yeah, but just, and I know you're aware of this, and I've felt you do it, Heidi, at different times, but it's like just, I'm the one that has it, and it's not ego and it's not anything, it's an experience. It's an energetic identity experience.
The part where I get a little bit confused is that in human design, my conscious sun is in gate 64, which is I get the whole download, the whole picture. And it's a lot about, it's right brain, so it's a lot about images and symbols.
Mhm.
And so where I feel a little bit confused is that what I described of the mountain that submerged below the ocean. It's not visual, it's a feeling, it's an
Yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
but I have so much visual and I make meaning of that visual. So I'm kind of at odds with myself. I've been playing around with Zillow and $30 million homes. Not that I need that or that I even want that. I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't say no, but and just to just allow myself to look at all the pictures, at how lovely it is, and to allow that. And I don't think that's what you have been guiding, is to hang out on Zillow for that. I don't, you know, I mean, it's not hurting anything, but I know that it's the feeling inside that
Yeah, it
matters.
was, Zillow is like the new vision board, right?
I know.
We used to have it on our fridge with the pictures we cut out. Yeah, you can do all of that, but what remains is that what creates is who you're being. So, you know, it's when you notice that doing that, you think that's gonna create.
I don't believe that. That one I've been trained by somebody right in front of me. Trained well. So I know, I don't think that, but
But
it's
then
almost like
you're
the
just.
question, what do I do with my mind when I'm in that, you know, being like, what do I do with that mind? That wants to picture and get their hands all over this gig.
Well, if you're genuinely not believing that that's how you get it,
I do believe that that's not how I get it.
okay.
It's by
Then,
going on
then
Zillow.
you're playing in the fields of the Lord, basically. You're
Okay.
playing in the fun of it. You might notice if anything shows up in there, and it can be very small, but if anything shows up in there like a doubt or a trigger,
Okay.
and because that what you're pointing to, which is kind of like daydreaming or imagination or whatever, what you're pointing to can reveal impediments, right?
Mhm.
It
Yes.
may it's kind of like something may appear that you know is an impediment energetically.
Well, I do have the thought that if I'm gonna be able to afford a $4,500 a month house on Valley Meadows,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to work a fucking lot of hours to
Mm.
pay for it. And I don't like that excuse my language, but I don't like that I have that thought, because I don't wanna be a slave. I don't want that. I don't want that transactional.
Well, that is it, to do the 6 steps on.
Yes.
Yeah. In order to have that, I would have to work a fucking lot of hours.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, is that true?
No.
So now it's like when you believe that that's true and you have the experience of that equation, right? Then that can lead you to, I don't know if I'm doing this with you now or not.
Yeah,
But-
let's do it.
Yeah, so I'm triggered.
I'm triggered.
It's about me.
It's about me.
What does that feel like? To
Um,
believe that you have to have that much money and you'd have to work a lot.
I feel a little trapped, despondent,
Mhm.
a little hopeless, a little pissed, angry.
Mhm. Do you remember feeling trapped and pissed and angry early on? What memory comes to mind? Using those feelings.
Well, it's really vague, and I don't know who. I think it may have been one of my middle or older brothers were wrestling with me and grabbing my wrists, and I couldn't move. And there were times it was fun and times it wasn't, and I just felt locked.
Right. Yeah. When that was going on, how old do you think you were, Heidi?
Um,
5, 6?
yeah, I was probably
Yeah.
6.
When that was going on, you concluded something about yourself. And these conclusions, you see, disregard the circumstances in which they were created. And they get installed in the subconscious, an identity conclusion. What was the conclusion when that was going on with them?
their word goes, I don't have a say. I can't do what I want, it don't matter,
Yeah.
I don't have any power.
You're powerless to create, to have what you want.
That's right. That's right.
And when that got installed, right? There may be another layer to that identity conclusion. Just if there is one, it'll come in response to this question, what's true about somebody who's powerless?
I'm weak, if I don't do what they say, then it will be bad, I'm vulnerable.
Mhm. Underpinning the experience of powerlessness will be some valence of being a victim.
Yes,
And so now what we're looking at with your conclusion about yourself is that I'm powerless and it feels like I can be fucked with, that can be a
that's right,
victim.
I can be messed with.
Right,
And the transactional that came up before, that I'm a toy to move around,
right.
toy, whatever that word is. Pawn, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what got installed. So that's the lens through which the information energetically goes into the quantum field.
And that I have to perform, I have to be charming, I have to do something, I have to work to get.
Yeah, the
this
work is
to-
built into that, isn't it?
Yes, to
Yeah.
get, to exist.
So what we're looking for now is the position, the energetic position of seeing this creation, right? To see what you created a person. You using the gifts and of your human design, your gifts and talents, and now you've created this person. That's not who you are.
No, it's not who I
It's
am.
not who you are. And I forgive myself for ever having believed I'm limited in that way of being powerless and transactional. I mean, it's just like if you can anything you can see, you ain't it. It's just an object, right?
I can
Including-
visually see like the paper mache layers that I had put on over the years, just pulling it off from the bottom. Just
Right.
ripping it off, just uncasting myself.
Exactly. Because that's what it did. It molded.
Yes.
That's what our identity conclusions do. They mold us into a particular way to be. I think I was working with Robin earlier today, and I said one of the Yarrow.
That would have been Yarrow.
It would have been Yarrow. I was working with Yarrow today, and I told her I used to make this analogy that we have this great outfit and we put it out on the bed and we're going to wear it to a party the next day, and we get up and it's gone without us. So it's like, because we're not that outfit, we're not that conclusion. Yeah.
I feel lighter, a little freer, like
Yeah.
not limited.
Yeah, so seeing is the alchemy. Perception is the alchemy.
That's good, that's really good. That's so good, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Paul.
Heidi. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a tag team on that one.
This is
Dominique.
It's Dominique, hi.
hi, Donna.
My brother was a year and a half older than I. And we wrestled and had a lot of rough interaction. And I would retreat into the bathroom. And he would come around periodically and beat on the door. And I would spend a lot of time in the bathroom. And so this feeling of not being able to escape and being powerless, as far as I've gotten, which is why I raised my hand.
Right. So that was the experience. And out of that, you conclude, that's your memory.
Oh, yeah,
You're right.
I know the feeling right here,
Right.
right now,
Yeah.
you know, and I will also say I've magnetized similar experiences in my life. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, not a surprise, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we have this lovely thread.
Mhm.
Sidebar, I suppose. What I notice in this process for me is that, and I haven't gotten to the shift on this one yet. But once the shift happens, then there's the living of it,
That's right. That's right.
right? So I guess I've been contemplating that one.
Yeah.
So that's another piece of this puzzle that I'd like to chunk in.
Right. So where we are is that you're in the bathroom and you're not free to live your life the way you want to. And you conclude something about yourself.
Not safe,
It's not safe out there.
not safe and not free, and I'm powerless. You know, I mean, he comes by and just slams on the, you know, and it's a little bathroom.
Right.
Um,
So when that got installed, that became a way that you perceive reality. That it's not free and you are, what was that? I forget the,
safe,
you're not safe. Yeah, so that's the way reality, you're seeing through the lens of that conclusion. I'm not safe, I'm not free. And so the reality is gonna look like that. It does more than that, right? We're so powerful as creators. You know, you'll have experiences of that same bathroom probably, right, in your life. It's like,
well, that opened up a whole nother, right?
yeah, so to see that you concluded something that was unavoidable, but never true. It was circumstantial. It was, and how old were you, between 5 and 7 or something?
Yeah, yeah, and then just as you say that, just huge, huge sadness.
Yes, it is.
Huge,
And
just,
we do, it's helpful for, in some circumstances with some wounds, to experience the loss, to experience the heartbreak on behalf of that little Dominique. Right? It wasn't fair. And for you as awareness of that, it's like you are saying to her now, I'm the one you've been waiting for. We didn't really need him, right? It's like, and I am here now. It's not in order to create a dichotomy between identities, but to acknowledge an experiential that created an identity, the one that was sad.
well, what I'm getting is, you know, adult Dominique going and saying, I'm out here, it's okay.
Mhm.
You know, and she initiating,
Mhm.
right? So she's taking her power and she's initiating and looking outside the door. You know, and getting that somebody is there for her.
Yeah.
And that somebody is me
That's right.
in the now,
That's right.
right? So
Yeah,
we're time warping and shifting
that's right.
into,
Mhm. It becomes really apparent with this work or any work like this, and there are many versions of it, that the time element is moot. It doesn't matter. Like you're there, that's the wound, and it's alive in you. The lens is operative, and so the time just goes away. Because this is it. And this is it in the sense that it is that was it then. You know? But the idea so we don't want any resistance going on to it showing up again. There's one of the lines in Byron Katie's worksheet is I look forward. Yeah, if Katie has it in there, I look forward to this happening again.
well, and the adult Dominique is fully capable and has the capacity to do that.
That's right. And the
Yeah.
more that she is available of
Yes.
this child and you know, we actually are, in our hearts, we are the child. And
Yes.
that we are the child that enters the kingdom of heaven once we have given up our distortion field of our wounded conclusion.
This thing of I look forward to it happening again. Forgive me, it's like Bush going, bring it on. You
It's a
know,
high bar.
it,
Yeah, I know.
it's an interesting,
Right.
I have an analogy that if you want to hear.
I'm
might be
listening.
helpful. In dog training, I had a dog trainer and he said, do you want your dog to get up once you put him in a downstay? I said, no. He said, yes, you do. Because you want to reinforce the downstay until the dog doesn't get up no matter what is coming at it. So for that, for you to be able to have whatever comes and not go out to it, not believe it, stay with your essential self, holding court.
You'll only
basically.
know that if that comes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's good.
I think what percolates up for me is titrate, you know, little pieces.
Right.
Little pieces that can be worked
Yeah.
and cleared and joyfully going, right, that's over. That kind of thing, but I appreciate what you're saying, you know, it's like, yeah, I mean, I think as a survivor, the ability to get up and go again. You know, I've been hearing about a lot of suicide lately and the depression and, you know, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, the willingness to step forward. And that's interesting too, this slippery thing of depression. Because this would be very much filtering into the depression, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, the off-gassing of the wounded conclusion, it creates all of the emotional disabilities like depression, like anxiety. Yeah, the work at the level of the conclusion, the identity conclusion is probably the best antidepressant.
No, it's enlivening a whole nother understanding of the process for me, so I'm very happy, grateful for this.
so probably we have about 5 minutes left, and I wonder if just in this 5 minutes, you could say something about the distinction between inner child work and what we're doing.
And I just want to say thank you,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
and everybody here for holding space for it, so, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the distinction is, as far as I can tell, and I was never trained in inner child work, and I'm a self-taught six-stepper. But the distinction is that we don't want a healed inner child. We want the dispelling of the mistaken identity that we've identified with, the frequency of which is one of fear and the mind of which is polarity. That's probably true for the inner child work too, but the consciousness of what this actually portends in terms of changing realities is the distinction. And that's the one. That's why when I found the 6 steps to freedom, when I was doing this work before I found the 6 steps to freedom, and I knew it was about forgiveness, and I knew that it was about the shift out of the identity with the fear-based ego. But what I was using was Ho'oponopono because I knew it was a forgiveness thing. It was a frequency, an energetic frequency, an opening into the spacious truth of who I am, and that's different from inner childhood. I don't want any of y'all to do better at what you do. I want you to be who you truly are, right? It's like, it's a different outcome. It's a different motivation, yeah. I don't know, was that enough?
Yeah, that was good. That was really, really clear. Because I think it can slip into
It
looking
does,
like
that's
inner
right.
child work, and it is just so much bigger than that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this portends a change in the reality, actually. It will change your reality. Knowing your true nature as awake awareness puts you in a relationship with the 3D reality and with the quantum field and yourself that is present in the moment without fear and without polarity. It what created the conundrum of this incarnational 3D reality, which was polarity, good and bad, right and wrong, underpinned by fear. So,
Okay, everyone good? Let's,
we can start early.
let's take a moment, it's time, let's take a moment in silence to just, those of you who are leaving, leave, and those of you who are staying, stay.